final boss on A form here, who's also apparently a yonder right now. And yeah, we're here to do something sinful and give credit to a mortal enemy. Which is kind of funny because that just makes it appropriate that we're in yandere mode here. We here prioritize objectivity over blood feuds. So enough dawdling and go straight into this review and what you can look forward to. First and foremost, the mechanics have become serviceable at long last. People like to give claims like the mechanics not having been changed, or that it is like Four Goddesses Online. Now let me demonstrate how you are wrong and how it flows like a decent, mediocre action title. Keep in mind it's only mediocre because the ARPG mechanics in this game are still directional fucking input and have no lock-on feature, which can in fact be frustrating in a post-game dungeon due to the mobs often taking your combat priority. The soundtrack has drastically improved in quality since Four Goddesses Online, and one of the tracks may end up surpassing Encounter of Destiny. When you listen to the soundtrack, you'll know specifically which one I'm talking about. The final boss looks much better, but sadly a lot of the bosses are still mostly damage sponges. But that's the sucky difference between ARPGs and a traditional action genre title. ARPGs are known to be damage sponges irrespective of the RPG that the action mechanics are involved with. Yes, that even includes my favorite Berseria. I do have some major gripes. For example, I don't care for the separate art style for each character. I was willing to tolerate that stuff in Varnier, even though I mentioned it during my playthrough of that game, because there's not much variation with these various artists that were involved with in-house compile art. Yet the art style between Neps and Senran Kagura are too stark in contrast, inevitably creating a sense of dissonance. Another gripe is the effing lip flaps. So many people were laughing about how much I was overly focused on the badly utilized lip flaps, but it's too noticeable for me. This game does not serve the proper function of the crossover. It is less of a crossover and more like fandom fan service, i.e. only the characters you like within a specific series will appeal to you. If you're solely a Senran Kagura fan, this game does not win you over into being interested in Neptunia. If you're solely a Neptunia fan, this game does not win you over to Senran Kagura, unless of course if you're Rafine. If you're a fan of both games prior to the crossover, this game is solely designed for you. See how I say it does not serve its function? Be warned of the post-game dungeon. It's a King of the Mountain style dungeon with various gimmicks tied to them. Notably stuff like not being able to change characters, or not being allowed to use items, or not being able to use skills, or one of them even resulting in you having a permanent poison affliction. This serves the function of forcing the players having to learn the mechanics of the skill tree. It's sort of similar to Final Fantasy X or XIII's mechanic orbs. It's that sort of gameplay mechanic. That mechanic, combined with a King of the Mountain style post-game dungeon, gives a level of depth and customization almost unrivaled by any game previous. Steamax and Offimojis are just absolutely delightful. They always were. They always were one of the best things about V2. The only thing better than Offimojis and Steamax in V2 were Kurome and Uzume. Yeah, Kurome and Uzume were meant to be the stars. They were the main bosses of this game, and their bro-ship were on full display in this game and stole the show, in my opinion. This game makes me wish the Nep crew takes a back seat for once. and have Offimojis and Stamax become the main pro tags for a game. One downgrade from Net Virtual Stars is that they return to having 2D sprites with lip flaps instead of the noticeably better 3D models from Net Virtual Stars. It felt less personal and customized as a result. Ultimately, this game was a much better experience than what I had expected. Was this a revival of either series? No. Is it the death knell of either series? No. Was this game a classic in any sense? No. Is it decent in a vacuum? Yes. Did this serve as a decent crossover? No. Is this a massive step back from Virtual Stars? Yes. Did this get me interested in Senran Kagura? No. The most I've ever liked of Senran Kagura was Asuka, and that was never enough to get me interested in Senran. Asuka is my waifu. Senran Kagura is boring to me, and I couldn't have cared less, for any of the Senran Kagura characters not named Asuka. This game doesn't serve any purpose except borrowing time for one game to survive around. That game's franchise being Neptunia. Overall, this game does not serve any purpose it sets out to do, but is fun to play and judge in a vacuum. It was a lot better than I gave it credit for. I am giving this game a preliminary score of 7 out of 10. Back to you in Real Life One Man to wrap it up. Thank you all for watching. I am the Dark Father. I really do appreciate you guys going around, going on my OST uploads, enjoying the music, enjoying the reviews. I hope this review gave you a bit of an insight as to what you're gonna get. I figured you guys deserve to know what you're getting into when you're playing it. And for once, I decided to stick up for basically what I consider my most hated company. That I generally dislike. It's the only one I like less than Atlas. That being aside, I really do appreciate y'all coming by. This game was a journey and a half. I'm not sure entirely if I'm going to be able to afford the North American version yet, but we'll see. In fact, yeah, I may or may not be able to handle it, but there's this game coming out called Melty Blood that I've reserved already, so roughly around that time, you'll have a couple of gameplays involved. So I hope you enjoy my Melty Blood playthrough. The God tier rankings are still on the way. It's just that they've taken a lot more editing than I gave credit for. And I'm not exactly the best video editor. Hell, I can't even keep my own fucking room organized. I can't even crop out my TV from the video frame. But yeah, it's been a really incredible journey so far. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Consider following me at IamNor6 on Twitter. I have a BitChute, so consider following me there. Honestly, other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.